Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another amazing match here at the Overwatch Calvary Club Scrims. Tonight, we are entering the Blackwatch division for the playoffs between Salt, second seed, and AYAYA, third seed. I'm your play-by-play for the evening, Captain Jack, joined by a new face here at OCCS, or new voice, rather, the Megalas. How you doing tonight, Megalas?
I'm doing just fine, Hopefully, we're going to, as always, expect some phenomenal Overwatch coming out from these teams and really just in for the ride.
Nope, it is going to be absolutely incredible, I'm sure. So, as you folks probably already know at home, the Blackwatch division consists of, I believe it's, what is it, high diamond, like low masters players is the division range we're playing in for this evening. So, we're going to be seeing some interesting compositions, I would believe, based on the fact that we're getting into that range where people just are really focused on the meta, and with all the different changes that have been going on right now, it's going to be difficult to kind of pin that down. So we're going to see what our teams are doing to make that happen. So introduction time before we get started for our first map on Lijiang Tower for Team Assault, currently second seed in the Blackwatch division, coming in with a 3-3 win-loss ratio and -2 map differential from the regular season. We've got KBC and Pichu in on the tanks, Obi-Wan and Prim on the DPS, and Widowfaker and Red Hoodie coming in on the supports. For AYAYA, third seed, coming in 2-4 from the regular season with a map differential of -8. They're coming in with Brimos and Base Boosted on the tanks, McBeanbean and Xerox on the DPS, and Eternal and Dank Monkey on the supports. So whenever our folks are ready to get started, go ahead and start us off there, Megalas. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and let our folks at home know that you can support our amazing community by hitting that heart and punching that bell so that you know every time that we are online. I know that is getting a little bit more few and far between the during the playoffs right now, but you do not want to miss this action, and that bell will let you know every time we're online. You can also hit that subscription button, $4.99, or Twitch Prime or Amazon Prime subscription will give you access to some amazing emotes and support our awesome community. So it looks like our teams are ready to go. So let's get this show started as we head to Lijiang Tower.
Yes, indeed. And as you were talking about a little bit beforehand, there's no real meta, not only because of ELO, but because of the way the game is shifting. You do have the focus on hero pools coming up, so a lot of teams are already starting to flex, starting to really fill out, show what they can play. And I'd say the only really required hero could be May, but even then you can see her subbed out depending on the map. Like, for example, we're starting out here on the night market, and Pharah would be an amazing choice, possibly even a Symmetra to get in quick and just be a nuisance on the point itself.
And especially with the changes that are coming up in the future patch, with pretty much everyone getting nerfed except for Symmetra, I would not be surprised if we didn't see a little bit of Symmetra play this evening as they are getting prepared for that. What do you see coming out for our teams right there, Megalas?
Well, first we're going to obviously note the double barrier, and we still have, good 20 seconds. There could be some lovely, lovely changes in the spawn room, because I don't think Primos and Base Booster are going to run with this dive tank line. If they do, it would be pretty interesting. Normally you do see the D.Va just for kind of mitigating that defense matrix, eating a lot of things, but this could be interesting itself to run.
All right, so it looks like I got a couple wrong, but I was told to swap people, but I guess didn't realize that they weren't going to be playing those roles. McBeanbean is actually taking on a healing role, while Eternal is taking on DPS for tonight. KBC coming through the teleporter already gets the tackle onto Eternal, though. Xerax soon to follow to the turret of Obi-Wan coming in on that Symmetra. The Anti-Nate ends up going into the backline, but not a lot of follow-up to keep it going there from McBeanbean and the rest of the team. Xerox swapping over to that Pharah as the dive looking to still hold strong. We are, though, going to see Salt take the objective and start their percentage climb.
And you always have to take that that objective first if you are the team running the Symmetra, simply because you lose so much of her value if you don't. But now that they're in there, not only will they have the turns to nuisance the other team, Mei as a character will just wall off entrances, be able to zone entire teams, change up the pathing. But I think the right swaps are coming out here. Xerox now onto the Pharah.
Red Hoodie right there, being trying to be as aggressive as a Reddit Lucio can be against a Pharah Mercy right there, just trying to kind of boot them in and out. Base boosted and Xerox end up getting the first couple of picks there onto members of Salt, but Prim will end up taking down Brimos there at the end. We already have the Nano coming in onto base boosted, looking to see if they can get an additional pick, and will end up finding Red Hoodie, but the res coming in for Brimos might keep things going as Eternal and Xerox pick off both Pichu and Prim. We're going to see Obi-Wan and KBC work their way back into the fight as Widowfaker ends up getting hacked out of the coalescence that they were coming in with by Eternal. Eternal gets the double kill right there as Brimos follows up onto KBC, but they're continuing to feed the point. Finally, control switching over to AYAYA with 62% for Salt.
And I mean, 62%, that's nothing to sneeze at. But now the question is, how do you deal with this composition if you're this side of Salt? Seeing as you're not really making any switches, possibly relying on that Blizzard, but you're not going to really be able to pin anybody down outside of potentially being on the Ana. And Xerox has the barrage ready to go, absolutely going to pin down anybody coming through this choke.
Well, it looks like they're just going to teleport into the objective like they did the first time, and then just put the barrier up. But unfortunately, the barrier doesn't work so well if it's at such a weird angle. The barrage already coming down from Xerox ends up taking down Pichu, but Obi-Wan will follow up on both Brimos and base boosted. The res coming in from Dank Monkey ends up bringing him back, but KBC does take down Dank in return. Obi-Wan able to follow up on Xerox and Eternal. But we're going to see Brimos continuing to hold on to the objective as long as possible, but Control has already swapped over the turrets, coming back up once again as base boosted, now rejoining the fight, ends up missing the tackle as Prim now coming in on the McCree, looking to see if they can do some damage that way. The bongos get popped out by Pichu, looking to hold on to the objective as long as possible. 99% right there as we end up seeing Obi-Wan taking down Eternal just as soon as they're discovered, trying to hold on to the objective. It's not going to be enough. 10% or 100% to 28% with our first map on Lijiang going to Salt.
I mean, when you have that many mobile dive characters, it's really a shame that you had to give the point up so easily. But then from there, the side of Salt just played it perfectly. Despite not having a pharmacy counter, they just took the ground war. They immediately fell onto the tank line, took them out, and then all of a sudden the Pharah is not really that much of a nuisance when it's a 4v6. But now we're here on the Gardens. The Pharah can get a lot more value here. This is definitely her best point of the three of Lijiang. And now the side of Salt's going to try to run this Ryan Zarya composition.
And that could end up working out for them. I think, again, the biggest issue that they have is making sure to deal with the mobility that comes with that dive composition. They're going to try to stun that out with Obi-Wan and Prim coming in on the Mei and McCree. So they do have some stunning, slowing ability to lock that down. But it's really going to end up coming down to the AYAYA, how they figure that out. Prim ends up getting the hack onto, Eternal gets the hack onto Prim to start things off. So Ore denying that that flashbang to go ahead and stun a character right there. But it looks like they're working their way back into the fight right now as Prim able to get the first pick onto Brimos, but base boosted with the triple kill there at the beginning. Make that a quad as they end up hopping right on Obi-Wan. Eternal ends up cleaning up the rest of the team as we see AYAYA grab the objective and start their percentage climb.
People seem to forget that Winston only needs about 1,500 damage dealt to build up that Primal Rage, and when you're all just kind of poking and prodding in the point, you can build that rather quickly, even if you get the Mercy damage boost going on you. But now looking ahead towards the next fight, a Deadeye could be coming online here for and now also the Barrage up for Xerox. I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of angling, a lot of positioning for both these teams.
Nope, I agree with you there. And the battle already starting on the objective as we see KBC trying to work their way in with that hammer. Prim able to get the pick onto Dank Monkey very early as the hack ends up coming in onto KBC. The barrage comes down, but I think ended up getting stunned out, or killed out rather, as Red Hoodie takes down Xerox. Prim cleaning it up right now with the help of Obi-Wan. Brimo's currently the only one left on the objective, will get taken down by Obi-Wan there at the 51% mark. We will see Control swap over to Salt.
And Salt is just playing this so perfectly. I feel like I have to highlight it again. They're realizing the Far in the Sky, the Sombra in the backline, while they are nuisances, they take time to set up. They take time to get this positioning, so they're just collapsing onto the tank line, taking away those two front legs for the side of AYAYA. So it's just huge advantages knowing to play it right, but it's like
that first pick onto Prim is going to be a hard one. The Blizzard coming down right now, trying to solidify the objective as the beat comes down from McBeanbean. Now the Graviton out to solidify the kill into base boosted as well as McBeanbean. That's going to go ahead and shore that up. The Res coming in just barely there from Dank Monkey. It brings base boosted back into the fight, but ends up paying for it at the hands of Widowfaker. They are continuing to fight for control right now as we see base boosted using the primal to end up getting back to the rest of their team. We will see percentages meet as Salt now takes the lead.
And looking ahead towards this next fight, there's the EMP setup and the barrage coming in.
Ooh, that's huge! Triple, quadruple kill coming out from Xerox. Make that a team kill for AYAYA. I was questioning that a little bit because I saw that Brimos had ended up getting booped off by Red Hoodie, so I didn't know if that was going to end up being part of the setup, but it ended up working out regardless, and that beautiful barrage EMP combo right there from AYAYA let them take back the objective.
And now they're playing so aggressively because they know they can't allow Salt to get any positioning with this man on the point. They also still have the concept fear of a Deadeye with the buffs to it. It's an insanely powerful ultimate now. There's literally nowhere you can truly be safe from this McCree.
Well, at least they don't shoot through walls, so I think that's something that they got going for him right now. Brimos does get the first pick. Shatter coming down with no shield to be had. Xerox coming in with another barrage. Ends up taking down KBC, but not before Prim ends up getting Dank Monkey there in the end with that Deadeye. Control going to swap back over just barely before the 99% mark as Salt once again takes control.
And looking towards how AYAYA is going to be able to flip this point back and secure this point on Lijiang, it's going to pretty much come down to McBeanbean building up this sound barrier because he's going to have to try to help his team live through either a Blizzard or a Graviton, whichever one doesn't get used in this fight right here.
Ooh! Did she just get... She got hacked out of the Blizzard! Oh my goodness, and Xerox is taking advantage of that. Base boosted now coming out with the primal to follow up on that triple kill as the minefield coming out for Brimos. Xerox will get the final pick there onto Pichu as we see control going back to the side of AYAYA. We will see 99 to 100% as AYAYA there at the very end ends up taking control and taking the map here on Gardens.
An absolutely massive hack from Eternal onto the Mei. Because of that little animation, it is possible to, stun her out, hack her out of it, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because essentially you're hacking her throwing, but, it's gameplay, it's mechanics.
I mean, you do hack McCree rolling, so...
I suppose.
And Hammond rolling, so,
yeah,
I mean...
You can't run anything.
Very interesting the things that Sombra's ability actually ends up doing. It looks like we're going to see very even keel, an even keel matchup right here. Pretty much a mirror except for the Moira and Brig and the Reaper and McCree for either team. So what do you think about that, Megalas?
Well, AYAYA just essentially is going to have the better composition here because they're going to be able to brawl hold W. But when McCree's get picked like that, it's kind of hard to argue against it.
Yep, and that Maywall going up with the barrier down right now. They're getting aggressive. Brimo ends up getting the first pick there onto Obi-Wan after the first couple fall. And they're moving their way into the objective now. High Noon already up for Prim right there as we see base boosted absorbing all of it right there. We're going to see control end up going to Salt, but it is far from over right now. The Coalescence comes out from Widowfaker, but it is not enough as the Maywall separates out the team. Eternal, Dank Monkey, getting pick after pick right now on the objective, but with them maintaining control, Obi-Wan just has to try to hold it out for as long as possible. Just keep feeding the point over and over again with different people. Now Red Hoodie taking their spot on the point as they go ahead and get it up to just about 33% before it swaps over to control for AYAYA.
I mean, he gained about 20% there for a fight that was effectively lost the entire time, so you'll take that. But like I was saying before, AYAYA has this very brawly, heavy composition, especially with the Brigitte and Reaper. The only advantage McCree's going to have is at range, but now that they're in the doors, in the spawns...
Whoa! So, for those of you that did not realize, that was 3 ultimates that went down in that entire fight. We had the Blossom, the Shatter, and the Diva Bomb all going out at one time. That has secured AYAYA to take the lead right now in percentage, as they are at 40% and climbing.
And I mean, the downside is using 3 ults, and now they're getting a reverse done to him.
Oh! Eternal ends up falling there to KBC's bomb. The Blizzard able to grab a couple right there, but not able to follow up on it due to the Maywall from Xerox. Xerox does follow up on the double kill of their own right now as Dank Monkey able to stun out and kill Obi-Wan, but Prim will get the final pick there onto Xerox in the end as Base Boosted sends them back to spawn.
And Base Boosted does eat the Blizzard there from Obi-Wan, so now they're pushing up 68%, and it's looking like such an advantage for this aggressive team for the side of AYAYA. I did not think it would be this one-sided, but the Deadeye is now online, as we've seen, terrifying, just zoning
out. The Shatter comes down, but the Maywall separates it out. I don't think it ended up even getting anyone, to be completely honest with you. Deadeye still holding strong right now as it gets everyone and deletes the shield, but the Nano now coming out for Primos, looking to see if they can make some use of it, but right now is continuing to get frozen out by Obi-Wan, not being able to make use of that Nano. The Diva Bomb now coming down for Base Boosted, gets Red Hoodie there in the end as Primos able to get Obi-Wan with the Fire Strike. Widowfaker, the only one left on the objective, will get taken out by Dank Monkey's Flail, as now we see KBC on the spin to win. Hammond just trying to hold on. Prim able to get the double kill, allowing that spin to win to continue on right now. Overtime continuing to tick away as the Shatter takes down KBC. The only one able to touch right now is Red Hoodie, trying to hold on to the objective as the Blizzard comes out. Widowfaker's able to touch. Overtime continuing to tick away right now as the DMAC ends up coming in for Base Boosted due to the Blizzard. But now the only one left on point is Obi-Wan and Widowfaker. We see now Pichu rejoining the fight. The Blizzard ends up coming down but not grabbing anyone in that entire thing. Spin to win now coming out once again as Eternal ends up getting the pick onto Widowfaker. Eternal cleaning up right now on that Reaper as we see Red Hoodie continuing to hold on. Now we're going to see Prim now coming in as the Tracer, trying to hold on to the objective as well. Get picked off by Prim, and that is match number 1, folks. AYAYA walking away with the victory here on Lijiang Tower.
I mean, it just came down to that final point, just the better composition. The Brigitte, the Reaper keeps you at close range. Phenomenal stall at the end, though. You know, there was a point where it could be brought back. We, of course, can appreciate this little play. EMP, Barrage, what more do you need to say?
That was beautiful right there. And that final fight will show you how close tonight's match is going to be. The score almost, or the standings in the season almost really have nothing to do with how tonight is going to end up going down, folks. So please make sure to stay tuned this evening as we see the continued evolution of this matchup. So our next match is going to be, on Assault. Assault will get to choose which Assault map they want to go to for our next map. If you were sitting with Salt right now, Megalas, what map would you recommend?
I mean, nothing where Afara can be played. I mean, there was an overwhelming DPS presence for the side of AYAYA, so you want to be able to try to enable your tanks a bit more. Fortunately, as said at the beginning of the stream, I am new here, so I don't know if there's an exact map pool or if everything's in the pool.
Nope, they're just picking at random, anything in the Assault category.
Well, if you're going for anything for Assault, honestly, I would say go to some. I mean, the pick for Hanamura I think is coming in now, but it's something standard. You know, you don't have to think too much about it. Pharah's a little bit harder to run on that second point if you're looking for that specific counter, but I feel like Sombra can have a little bit more of an impact there, so it's an interesting choice, but all in all, I mean, not terrible.
Well, it also kind of depends on how they end up playing it out as well. If AYAYA continues to use that brawly composition, Hanamura might be a good place for them to lock that down. Because there's so much range involved with both first and second areas for the objective. Now, note, you kind of have to be on the objective to be able to contest, so that composition still going to be incredibly deadly. But I feel like Salt might be able to turn it around if they switch over to that more brawly composition, if they're looking to stay with that specific standing, I guess, when it comes to distance over close fighting. Hanamura is definitely one of those maps that could end up working out for them. Paris would have been another one, but maybe they would have been nervous about being on the attack for that map, seeing as that choke is incredibly deadly to try to get through. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this all ends up coming down. We do have a swap of Mighty Peon in for Eternal for this fight, so possibly not going to see that Symmetra or Reaper gameplay that we've been seeing at the level that Eternal was playing it at. Mighty, I know, is definitely more or at least in my experience with Mighty, they're definitely more sniper-esque. So we may be seeing some Ashe, some Widow, some Hanzo coming out for AYAYA this time around. It looks like our teams are ready to go. So let's go ahead and get this show started as we head into Hanamura. Looking in the chat right now, it looks like Alfie in the chat saying, Eternal, I killed everyone. It's safe. Direct quote from Eternal, just so you know. Bacon earlier in the stream saying Symmetro is a hero in the game of Overwatch. Thank you, Bacon. I appreciate that clarity. It's always funny when you listen to like the songs that have been created. Like Nerd Out is one of those like parody organizations that makes a lot of like game parody, and they cover a lot of Overwatch material. But if you listen to like the earlier songs when Overwatch first came out, like one of the lines is Sim's not a healer, it's like I'm stuck on repeat. And just remembering like back to that time when Symmetra technically was a healer, like in the support category, as odd as that was, and just how much that has changed over all this time, how much many of these characters have changed over the time of Overwatch being around.
And I mean, one character I guess you could say hasn't really changed all too much. You know, old faithful Reinhardt, always been there, charging, shielding, just kind of doing his own thing.
Definitely charging.
Definitely charging. Mouse 1, there's no such thing as a shield button if you're golden below. And we're seeing the Ryan matchup once again.
See, already seeing that charge back from Pichu. Interesting setup here, though, because we see base boosted coming in on that D.Va sleep dart. Already coming in onto Brimos, though, from Widowfaker. Trying to keep that shield as much out of the line of sight of damage as possible right now. It looks like we have a very even keel setup right here. The Maywall ends up coming up there for Obi-Wan, trying to deny out the damage from that anti-nade that came in, but was not able to pick much of anybody. Widowfaker able to get that first pick onto Brimos, though, but it looks like Pichu is going to fall soon after that. Prim able to follow up on Xerox in return, though, so it's a 4v5 fight right now as we see the Dynamite coming in on base boosted, but getting healed from a distance by McBean is going to go ahead and hold them up for now. KBC, although slept, is going to be able to get back to the safety of the team as we see Pichu trying to make their way back to that choke. Surprisingly, Brimos and the rest of AYAYA choosing not to come in, but until right now when the anti-nade Dynamite Blizzard combo comes in right now. And that is just going to end what that push could have been. with 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock.
I mean, it's just absolutely interesting how staggered out that fight kind of was, because that was essentially lost for the attack probably about 20-30 seconds in, and instead they prolonged it another minute, constantly throwing themselves in, not even applying point pressure. So it's interesting to see that overcommitment for the side of AYAYA.
Well, the part that I was surprised about was the fact that they didn't lead in when Pichu still wasn't on the objective. Like, they just had the advantage right there. We saw the Diva Bomb coming in from KBC there into the back line as Pichu able to get the pick onto Xerox. We now see Mighty Peon trying to get that pick onto Pichu as Base Boosted takes down Widowfaker with the bomb placed on the high ground. Dynamite coming in allows Pichu to take down Mighty Peon, but not before meeting Dank Monkey and that Sonic Blaster of his. The DMAC is going to end up coming in for both Base Boosted and KBC right there. The battle of the mini divas going on right now, but it's not going to last for much longer. KBC will win it, but it's literally Mini Diva and Red Hoodie against the rest of AYAYA, and I don't think that that's going to work out for them. With about 1 minute and 10 seconds on the clock, we will see AYAYA take Objective Alpha and make their way into Objective Bravo with 4 minutes on the clock.
Now we have to start thinking about this extended fight here, because sure, for the offense you have the Blizzard, but that's all you have, so possibly try to hold it, just bait out ultimates here. Eco pushes is the very family-friendly turn I think everyone likes to use. And instead they're just going to rush to the point, and there's nobody from the defense really on it.
Yeah, they were headed to the high ground with the Blizzard coming in to try to counter it out. Now we got the Blizzard Venn diagram coming out as Mighty Peon now swapping over to that trusty Widow, looking to see if they can get some picks, but are going to be unsuccessful as the rest of Salt ends up picking off those on the objective. The only one that will escape there is Mighty Peon, as we see the rest of Salt retreat to the point with 3 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, but AYAYA will take that. I mean, trading a Blizzard for a Shatter Blizzard, a Bob, as well as a Nano Boost any day of the week.
Oh, there was a Bob in that too? Oh, goodness.
It was a
they
very
emptied everything. Oof.
So now they're finally kind of fighting a sort of even ult fight. Both beats are going to be online by the time this really starts, but the bomb initiation!
Oh! It was so closely timed. It was so closely timed right there. The Maywall either did go down soon enough for them to get that pick or did not come down soon enough. And that's what it did, a lot of damage, but didn't end up getting kills. Salt still was able to clean up on that, with Prim now on the Widowmaker getting that triple kill on that high ground with only 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I think AYAYA has to rethink their strategy here.
Possibly. I mean, it's hard to get a good position for your Widowmaker, especially on this point of Hanamura, but you do have sights up when you know the other Widow won't, so that's a huge advantage if you pop it at the right time. And then all it takes is that one initiation pick, and all of a sudden you're going to be able to storm the objective just like that.
And there it is. Mighty Peon taking down a Widowfaker right there. It's a 3v1 as the high ground drops down to meet the objective, looking to get that first pick. Here comes the beat drop, but Shatter coming in with a boop as well. As we see Brimos taking down Pichu, the anti-nade ends up coming in. First tick right now for AYAYA as they continue to hold strong right now. We're going to see Obi-Wan chasing down McBeanbean and will successfully get that pick as Prim ends up taking down Dank Monkey. The Nano going in onto KBC allows them to hold on to control of the objective thanks to the heals and Nano from Widowfaker. Brimos will be the last to fall, essentially just getting staggered out at this point. Mighty Peon, though, with the double kill after the fight technically was already over, will end up getting staggered along with Brimos with 1 minute, 15 seconds on the clock.
So the way that fight broke down, I mean, you just had the Diva for the side of Salt just kind of wrap into the backline, get Mighty Peon out of favorable position, things like that. But that could have been prevented. Sights were up the whole time for Mighty. Could have definitely seen it coming and decides to pop the sights now as sort of a mirror war.
Wow, well, the Shatter comes down into the Blizzard as Xerox ends up getting, picked early, as well as Mighty Peon by Prim on that high ground. We're going to see the rest of AYAYA kind of stuck in this outside area, and Salt ain't going to let them rest there. They're just going to go in, take everybody out. We're going to see the hard resets come in here, but not without a couple of kills. And with 30 seconds left on the clock, this is going to be a hard fight for this objective.
I mean, you could argue that. I mean, a Blizzard is terrifying on Hanamura when you only got one fight left to fight against it. It's not really anything you want. No support ultimate for Dank Monkey, so there's not going to be a way to live this outside of just being able to kite it or potentially eating it. Base boosted, it's already done it once before, could come up clutch again.
Let's see if they can make it happen. The Blizzard comes down, but Base not able to eat it out, but the Diva Bomb goes up for KBC, takes down Base Boosted and Xerox, but Base Boosted trading out their own Diva Bomb for Obi-Wan and Red Hoodie. We see pick for pick going down on the objective right now. The only one left around is Dank Monkey, but will end up getting run over by KBC. Overtime's going to tick away, and with 47.3% on objective Bravo, we're going to see the swap over to round 2.
I mean, for such an aggressive team there on the offense, Mighty Peon was very passive on the Widowmaker. There were still definitely moments where picks were coming in. It was very high value, but there was just very kind of waiting for the other team to do something. I don't know if it was a miscommunication with ults, but Mighty Peon had sights up well before Prim on the other side and just did not use it, decided to wait for that kind of pop sights at the same time sort of deal. So interesting to see such an aggro team have a passive player like that.
Well, I think once again, it's kind of what we talked about before this match even came down, is the fact that maybe Prim was looking, and the rest of Salt, for lack of a better term, looking to use that longevity, that distance between them and the team to their advantage. And AYAYA tried to match that with Mighty Peon coming in on the Widow. Typically does pretty well on that Widow, but was just getting picked by Prim over and over and over again, despite being able, I think, one time to be able to get a couple of picks on the objective, which got them that first tick. But other than that, just having a real difficult time dealing with this damage over distance right now. So it's really going to come down to AYAYA to figure out how they're going to play this out, because Assault is going to have to get aggressive. They got to get brawly this time around because they're the attackers.
But, I mean, they have the perfect counter to Brawl right here with Dank Monkey on to the Brigitte instead of the Lucio here. Sure, you're giving up on that speed boost, possible disengages, but you don't have to disengage if you're just brawling, gaining HP the entire time, and that's what a Brig allows you to do.
All right. Oh, Mighty Peon getting the pick already onto Obi-Wan as Dank Monkey takes down Pichu very early in that fight. It looks like they're going to just go for the reset right here as we see AYAYA trying to chase down players back to Salt spawn. 3 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock.
I mean, both Maywalls just kind of got used there. Unfortunately, Obi-Wan got caught on the wrong side of the wrong wall, and it goes down from there. But now, it's interesting we're not seeing any swaps. You know, Prim possibly still sticking with this Widowmaker, thinking an angle can be had. But outside of Mighty, there's not really going to be an easy pick for the Widow here.
All right, well, they're fighting their way into the side room right now as Xerox take down Pichu. Prim on the high ground looking to see if they can get that pick onto Mighty Peon. Will end up being unsuccessful, though, as we see who is on the objective. Red Hoodie coming in, looking to see if they can distract the rest of the team. They will end up getting possibly, yep, first tick on the objective right there for Salt, but the Shatter comes in as they demech KBC. The wall comes up to try to separate that out, as now they're looking to do some damage. Red Hoodie and Base Boosted trading kills on the objective with 2 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. It's a 2v2 right now. Blizzard coming down, but gets eaten again by Base Boosted. We're going to see the bomb coming out, ends up taking down Obi-Wan. The Nano now coming in onto Brimos as the beat drop coming in for Red Hoodie, just trying to keep everyone together. Pichu now coming in as that Hammond, looking to use that bell for some strategic spinning right there, maybe get some boops, at very least do some damage right there. The high noon coming in. Mighty Peon ends up getting KBC after the DMAC as Brimos takes down Prim as well as Widow Faker with that Fire Strike. 1 minute, 50 seconds on the clock right now with Pichu last to fall and returning to spawn for another push.
I mean, there was no reason really for Salt to fight that. They kind of got picked, and instead of backing out, I guess it's kind of a showing of elo, I guess you could call it. But instead of backing out, they dedicate the beat, thinking they can win that. Obi-Wan unfortunately just got completely countered there. Blizzard eaten and then bombed by base boosted on the side of AYAYA. So now phenomenal position once again for AYAYA on the defense.
Oh, and the Blizzard comes out once again. Tackle coming in to try to take out both KBC and Obi-Wan will end up being successful right there, except for, nope, I guess they didn't end up getting KBC there in the end. Mini Diva just hanging out with the rest of the team now. But with a minute on the clock, they really got to regain that mech back if they want to grab this objective and head to objective number 2.
And can he even go back into spawn and just switch real quick? Because you had bomb up, and with less than a minute on the clock, you need that bomb. But Obi-Wan is sleeping, unfortunately, just taking a little snooze. These sleep darts have been absolutely insane. There's a bomb, and it's
in the back line, ends up getting Red Hoodie. Not paying enough attention right there. Diva Bomb now going in. High ground. Oh! Gets Xerox with the Maywall. Prim taking down McBean as well. It is a 3. Make that a 1v4 right now as Primo's able to take down Prim, but is the only one to try to fight on this objective right now. And they've got it. Primos is going to end up getting taken down there by Widowfaker as we go ahead and see the objective get captured by Salt. 3 minutes on the clock as they make their way into objective Bravo.
And, you know, Brimos could have been staggered pretty badly there, but the Salt rule changes from a while back kind of prevent that. And so now Xerox is going to have this huge positioning. As you see, already 3-walled off here on the
Woo! The wall comes in, but so do the tackles. Primos able to get Obi-Wan, but Widowfaker coming in with the Coalescence and the Shatter. It is fat. It is deadly as Widowfaker and Pichu just clean up the objective. The High Noon ends up coming in for Mighty Peon, but it's not going to be enough. Primos in with the tackle, but not going to be able to live through it as the support for Pichu is there. Salt will walk away with their first victory of the night, turning this whole thing on its head, tying it up a 1-1 here on Hanamura.
I mean, that was just kind of played beautifully by Salt. They sent their Diva over to the point, which forced half the team back. Once they were split, the Shatter comes in and just absolutely wipes up the offense up top, and then all of a sudden you're 6v2, I believe, on point. And when you just have Moira, you can kind of do that as well, just rain damage for no reason.
Yep, that's pretty much what it ended up coming down to right there. So we're going to go ahead and head to a quick 5-minute break, use the restroom, get a snack, invite some people to watch some Overwatch maybe, and we'll see you back with more Overwatch Calvary Club Scrims action in about 5 minutes.
And now
Woo, sheepy.
and that's 2 from the McCrizzle. That leaves just the Zarya and from Moira alive on point, and that's gonna be a Shatter bringing.
Oh my god, what a sleep! What a sleep!
That was a massive sleep start, brings Jag to the ground.
And Trippy Ninja's
He's looking for it. He's gonna find some, but he's gonna be immediately shielded. Massive play from Overkill there. Sniper Life is gonna find that beat or lamp, however, and the huge bomb is gonna find 4! Oh my god, Sniper Life! Huge play.
It's fair. I have to admit it here on stream. I actually am wrong. The wiki says that it's an Omnic Director.
Boom! Told you in your face. What's up? Anyway.
Still has that shatter. Dragon Strike coming in from KBC gets the quad as Obi-Wan getting a double. Buddy Chan following up on Ikkyo as the shatter comes in. Obi-Wan still having that Meteor Strike available as they take down KBC. Looking to follow up onto Bravery, who was swapped over to the Ham, and Psychon now coming in as Lucio trying to hold on, trying to get that beat.
They have 10 seconds to touch that payload.
Oh no, and Twitchy's got to be careful. You don't want to just get in there. Oh, that's going to be the end of Twitchy there. Oh, great job by Chibiki keeping the rest of the team alive. So here we go. It's going to be the final battle, and Zenkai has got to do something to make this work. Sway drops that ultimate, but the ultimates come out in favor of the Horn Beast. That's going to be the Horn Beast.
Beat drop coming in from Sassafras and the Diva Bomb coming down from Gangster Career. Oh my god! What? Where? What?
Oh my god, Neptune picks up Berkey and Neptune picks up Sassafras. It looks like this actually might be all over here for Eclipse.
On to something. Prim, they've got to be careful with Prim, who's coming up behind on the enemy team. There goes Sip C. Oh, is that going to... That's going to be a huge one, boys. That's going to be what finishes this particular game. Miss picking up yet another one, stopping it, and that's AYAYA taking this one home. Oh, and that's a big feels bad. McBeanbean, though, able to stay alive. Oh, but it could be dangerous territory. That's a 1-1 pick here on both sides. But McBeanbean's got to be careful not to get taken out. Dank Monkey still on that Lucio, able to keep him alive. Oh, and that dive composition might not be coming in for the best. Dank Monkey.
Widowfigure will find Mosaic here. High charge Zarya, getting tons of work in at the moment. And Widow just has to back up right now, but she's just going to fall to KBC, the absolute terror. Russian Fury pushing forward.
Who's here for Bagel Guy, who's out, hungry, but dead. Oh, and that is a wasted ultimate if I've ever seen one. Oh my god, and there we go. What is this nonsense?
Nah, John Hawks was on my side. Big bully.
Say that real slow.
Big bully.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing matchup going on tonight in the Overwatch Cavalry Club Scrims Blackwatch division. We've got second seed Salt versus third seed AYAYA in their playoffs match this evening in the semifinals, currently tied 1-1. I'm your play-by-play for the evening, Captain Jack, joined by Megalas coming in on the color. Megalas, you want to give us a quick recap of what we saw in the first half?
I mean, we saw very aggressive play coming out from AYAYA, Salt wanting to play this more reserved, passive style, and they made it work at points on Lee Zhang, but they ultimately lost it. And then going into Hanamura, they made that passive play work. They were able to get Prim to pop off on a hero like Widowmaker, and then eventually on the McCree. So all in all, it's just been a kind of clashing of styles that I really like.
Yeah, it's been incredibly interesting to see these two teams kind of go back and forth. And, you know, there's got to be a reason that Salt is coming up on top right now. Now, noting their map differentials and their scores in the regular season, there wasn't really a whole lot of difference. Like, there's not a whole lot truly dividing these two teams. So it may be that both of these teams are really just waiting to face off against Eclipse, who is the leader in the standings for this season with 4-2 right now. But even then, it just seems like that all three of these teams are just really balanced and maybe just play sort of differently. So it really just kind of comes down to ultimate usage. It comes down to coordination, and sometimes, to be completely honest with you, it probably just comes down to luck. So
yeah, but also a fair bit of mechanical skill I've seen between these teams.
Oh,
you know,
definitely.
Red Hoodie on the Lucio, been a highlight. Absolutely fun to watch. Lucios just go in all aggro and actually get value out of it.
Oh man, that was fun to watch on the first objective. Red Hoodie always going up on Lijiang Tower, either on Night Market or even in Gardens, just kind of rolling up to the Far Mercy and just going boop, just keep booping them out of position like over and over again. It's like, you don't belong up here. You don't belong here. But of course, our next map is going to be our hybrid map. And we already know where we're going. Like, I don't think any team in their right mind picks any other map, to be completely honest with you. And I think we're going to see this for the remainder of the playoffs. So buckle up, folks, because we headed to Scrims Row one more time. I know, right? There's so many other maps to play. There's so many other hybrid maps, but it's the most balanced map. Like, people
Nothing's gonna
love
get
it.
you off guard.
Yeah, it's like everything is planned. You know exactly where everyone's going to attack. You know everything that's going to go down. Kings Row is just one of those, along with Numbani, I feel are the two most balanced maps in the entire like hybrid category, which makes me sad because I love the design of Blizzard World, but I hate that it is such a chore to get through that choke. It is so hard to get through that choke. And even if you get through the choke, it's a hike to get to the point. And by the time you get to the point, the team has already respawned or part of it's respawned. And so it's just a real pain in the neck. But honestly, if I could see more play on maps like Blizzard World or what's another one? Let's see.
Blizzard World, you have Eichenwald.
Eichenwald. Oh, some Eichenwald action. A little often than we typically see it. That'd be really nice too. Which is well, I guess isn't surprising. Or no, it is kind of surprising that AYAYA didn't pick that map.
Yeah, I mean,
because that's a very Far Mercy like type map. Like, I feel like that would have really worked out in their favor. And I don't think we have any swaps for their team. So, I'm still kind of surprised that we picked this map then. But I guess it's pretty similar, except for like the very like thin chokes that we have here.
I mean, also this map can kind of lend itself a little bit more to Ana just because of the multiple different positions she can take, whether it be high ground, whether it be kind of playing around the Alderworth Hotel here on first point. And as we've seen, McBean has been absolutely insane with these sleep darts tonight. I'm surprised we're not asleep watching it.
I know, right? Just sleep dart comes out of the screen and hits you in the neck. Where did that come from? I didn't know it was like 2100. Interesting positioning. Ore coming in from AYAYA. We didn't see any hold of the choke coming in from Salt, but we're going to see just this continued run around the entire map from the side of AYAYA as they go ahead and take to the high ground. Oh no, they're in there too. Well, the Dynamite coming in once again from Prim, taking up the Ash, as now McBean ends up getting separated out a little bit, trying to do more damage than heals to be awesome as Prim Ore taking down McBean, the bomb coming out with that ultimate doing damage. Brimos will end up getting the tackle onto Pichu as Prim just cleaning up the objective with Bob in tow. Quad kill. KBC getting the final right there as they have wasted a minute and 15 seconds on the clock.
I mean, that's kind of why you see these teams pick Kings Row. They have set strategies like what AYAYA was trying to do there. They were trying to wrap the Reaper around behind. Mighty Peon finally got into position, and there was huge anti-nade out from McBean, but unfortunately, Prim on the Ash had the Bob up. The Dynamite just kind of poking, dealing damage the whole time. Built it, because it is a quick ultimate to build. People seem to forget that.
Yep, that Dynamite does, and it doesn't do, and it's not that it does an incredible amount of damage, it's more so that it just does enough nuisance damage to get that ult charge up, and especially if you hit multiple people with it, it's literally like you're just attacking everybody at once. But now, I think this was the strategy they were going for the first time around, was the fact that they were trying to split up their direction. As we see the Nano coming in, a Shatter will come in from Pichu, but will not do enough damage. Primos gets their Shatter canceled out by the Blizzard tossed by Obi-Wan as Prim already has another Bob on the field, and although not there to clean it up personally, the rest of the team is just going to play with their food, aka base boosted as the mini diva, as they go ahead and stagger that out for the team to get back. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining on the clock.
And that stagger onto base boosted was huge because it's going to prevent pretty much a 6v6 engagement that they want here. As they're already going in, Reinhardt's swinging.
The Nano already coming in onto Pichu, but doesn't get a lot of value because they knew that they were separated out from the rest of their team. Dynamite hitting 5 as the Eva bomb going up ends up getting Xerox. There is KBC. Is a Rhine v Rhine battle right there, and Brimos will end up taking down Pichu with now a Diva Bomb coming in from base boosted. Doesn't manage to get much to anything, unfortunately, due to how predictable that ended up coming. Another Bob! 3 Bobs coming out right here, and it is just doing a crap ton of damage, along with a second Blizzard from Obi-Wan. Not going to be able to get enough damage in, though, as Xerox and base boosted will take down the Bob Ash duo. The tackle coming in from Pichu allows base boosted to get demeched, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them to hold on as Mighty Peon cleaning it up on that Reaper. Brimos will end up taking down KBC there in the end, and with 10 seconds left on the clock, they will grab objective number 1 and get that payload moving.
Yes, indeed. Finally able to crack this objective just with the sheer numbers that being an attacker gave you. The attacker spawns. Obviously a huge advantage. You're going to be able to get back a lot quicker. But Prim's still on this Ash, raining absolute chaos. As you were saying, Bob's not only are they built especially quickly, but once you throw one out, while Bob is on the field, unlike most other ultimates, she can just start building towards another one. It's not one of those things where you have to wait for it and then you can finally start building ult percentage again. You can be 50% to another Bob by the time your first one goes away.
Well, I think that's pretty similar to how Maisel as well, right? She just tosses Snowball and it goes down like that. But, oh, man! Whoa! What is this? We see the shatters going down in multiple directions, but it looks like AYAYA coming out on top right now. It looks like we are going to see Red Hoodie make their way back to the payload, though, to try... Somebody's on the payload. But we are going to see Red Hoodie get pushed off of that. Not killed, just pushed off as they go ahead and make their way back to the team, or attempt to, for another push.
Yes, indeed. And I think both Divos need to really be highlighted here. Base Boosted and KRC have just been defense matrixing at the perfect times. Players are living far longer than they should, eating up the damage when it matters, and going in here, Obi-Wan with the May wall, and the Divas out to shut down.
Whoa, where's that? Whoa! Oh! Oh, man! I couldn't see through the other May wall that ended up coming out, but a Blizzard coming down with the beat drop, looking to see if they can clean it up. They will end up getting Xerox there. Prim now coming back in as the McCree. The May wall now separating out. The Nano coming in onto Brimos. Prim will get the Deadeye already with the double kill right there, taking down Base and Mighty. As the Shatter and Anti-Nade come in to try and retaliate, it's not going to be enough. Obi-Wan and KBC clearing the objective with 30 seconds left on the clock.
And this is the optimal defense here on Kings Row, just because it's so long to get back to this point. Even if there were an extensive time bank, there'd be a full-on 30 seconds wasted just getting back. And this Blossom, I think, is pretty much the only tool they're going to have. Obviously, Xerox with the Blizzard, assuming that doesn't get countered, but there's nothing for the side of Soul.
Yeah. The positioning, Ore coming out from Mighty Peon is making it difficult to get into this fight. Blizzard coming online for Xerox, though, as well as a Blossom, although I couldn't tell in the chaos where it ended up going down there, but it did get Red Hoodie. Shatter coming in from Pichu, but gets shielded and deleted by Brimos and that Fire Strike. It looks like Objective 2 will end up getting captured right there as Base Boosted getting the double kill there on Widow Faker and Prim, giving them another minute and 30 seconds to take Objective 3.
And now Xerox is kind of stuck on this. Doomfist had to reset ults, although I think Blizzard was just used to it. It's not too terrible. Obviously, just trying to get back to the cart. But now with about a minute left on the clock, you could potentially give them a little bit of free push, make a little poke if you're Salt, and then force last fight, possibly with the Blizzard or the Nano here. And it's on to the Boostio!
No, it's Boostio! And Red Hood making use of it too. Boopity boop boop, take Brimos out of the fight as Base Boosted following up onto Pichu. It's a battle of the Divas and Annas and Maze. Oh my, right now on the objective, and it looks like it is coming out for the side of Salt right there as they go ahead and pick off Base Boosted and Xerox there in the end. Another 30-second mark on the clock as they have to get it into this final objective. There are no redos for this one.
Yes, indeed, and like I was saying before, Salt wanted this engagement exactly. They have Blizzard up. They can force this to be the final fight here on the cart. It just comes down to if there's any counterplay available. There's quite a few ults. I think it's going to be the Q War with the bomb initiation!
Oh! The sleep dart coming in on Pichu, gets the double kill. Prim in the back line gets the triple with the Deadeye quadruple kill, cleaning up the objective. They thought they were safe, but they were far from it. The only one left on the objective is Base Boosted, trying to hold on with all of their might. But we're going to see Prim stunning out Brimos, swapping over to the Hammond. Cannot touch in time with 36.59 meters. We will see an incredible save coming out from the side of Salt.
I mean, I need to know what back workouts that Prim is doing right now, because that was an absolute carry moment right there for his team. All hope was lost. The Deadeye comes up huge, and not only that, gets the follow-up kill to kind of end it right then and there. So now it's a winnable fight. It's a winnable point. It's not all the way into C. You don't have to go that far. You just got to get there pretty much.
But as we know, the hardest fight to get through the first time around is always this first objective. And as we saw from the side of AYAYA, it took them the entire time bank, that whole 4 minutes, to get objective number 1. So if we find something similar coming out from the side of Salt, Kings Row is going to be a hard-fought battle for them.
I mean, definitely, but at the same time, I feel like AYAYA kind of got trapped in their own heads a little bit, too committed to their plan, as it were, because they were just determined to make this wraparound happen, make it work, and it took so long to set up. So possibly that was a problem if they initiated differently, but who knows what could be coming out on the other side. Right now, I'm seeing double sniper. If Prim's clicking heads, I want to be front row and center to see it.
But I don't want to be front row and center to be taking it. That's for sure. It will be interesting to see with both Prim and Obi-Wan coming in on the double sniper. Obi-Wan has been incredibly deadly on that Mei, and with Xerox still sticking onto that, I feel like this is going to be a hard one. I almost wonder, oh, nope, never mind. Obi-Wan's coming in on that Mei, never mind, we good. But the rest of the team just pushed in while Obi-Wan was kind of like going back to spawn and whatnot. So I'm not for certain if they realize that. We will end up seeing Pichu just barely being able to escape that, but Obi-Wan will save the rest of the team, but will end up getting taken out themselves. We will see KBC now coming in on the Zarya though. So we're gonna see a repeat of our time on Hanamura for a little bit. Should be interesting to see how this all goes down.
Yes, indeed. I mean, when McBean, though, is the Ana on the other side, there's been bad antis all game, there's been sleep darts. Maybe you want to opt back into that diva. And now we're seeing Prim kind of be indecisive. It might be some communication going on, calling out what to go. There was a Tracer for a little bit. Now there's a Reaper in play. But you're not going to be able to out-brawl when there's a Brig on the other side.
I think that's one of the issues that they're really running into here. Chatter, Ore coming in for Brimos as they take Pichu out of the fight, but I don't think it ended up solidifying onto much of anything, unfortunately. Base boosted will follow up onto Obi-Wan, though, so it is a 4, make that a 3v5 fight right now as they are waiting to get back Xerox from, Dank Monkey from spawn right now. But Ultimates, are coming online for the side of AYAYA. It's going to have to be well timed out, though, as we see now the same Ultimates coming online for the side of... Oh, goodness. Sorry, I'm just getting lost in my thought right now because we got the Venn diagram of Blizzards coming out, as well as a Nano now on my... Peon does not have that Death Blossom yet, so we're not going to be seeing any Beyblade action, but the Blossom comes out regardless, ends up taking down Prim as Dank Monkey trying to stun out Pichu. Here comes the Diva Bomb in for base boosted, takes Widowfaker out of the fight as well, but it is a 3v4 on the objective. Mighty Peon tying it up as the Graviton coming in for KBC, trying to hold on, trying to see if they can get those picks that are needed. Obi-Wan trying to freeze anyone and everyone they can as the anti-nade coming in from Widowfaker will help KBC clean that up. Prim able to follow up onto Vast boosted right there. And it looks like this may end up being objective 1 with just about a minute on the clock, unless no. That's it. It was back and forth because Mighty ended up denying the anti-nade with the Wraith, but didn't have enough healing and ended up getting taken out. It was a rough one. But with 3 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock, they're going to start pushing towards objective number 2.
And now we have Pichu being forced to reset that ultimate, go back over to the Reinhardt, because you really do need these Rein brawls to go in your favor in this meta, because Reinhardt's such an important character. He can't really be knocked around, so it's essentially just his duty to be the Iron Wall. Until he falls, you're in the fight. And also these Mei walls are helping set Rein's up, but unfortunately it looks like the Mei is trapped.
Yep, it's bad when there's another Mei on the side that can also wall you off as being walled off, and that did not work out well for the side of AYAYA right there. KBC, Prim, and Pichu just picking off 1 for 1 with that Death Blossom in tow, doing damage to everybody else. That's going to give them possibly objective number 2, but there's a final fight to be had. The question is, will they have enough to be able to make it happen?
I mean, the issue is, as long as Red Hoodie positions well, this beat will save them from anything, whether it be a Shatter or a Blossom or even a Blizzard. They can get online in an elongated fight.
Oh, the Nano gets denied as Brimos comes in with the Shatter. They're going to tackle away Pichu, but now a Blizzard Shatter. Come back in. Oh, what is with these Blizzard Venn diagrams, man? I don't know who It's like who gets frozen, who does not get frozen, and who is the frozenest in the middle. But that's nevertheless, Salt is going to come out on top and grab objective number 2. With 3 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock, they have the advantage to grab this last objective.
I mean, yes, because it didn't go that far into point C where teams can normally hold very well. It's pretty much not even around the second bend here. It's already rounded the first bend. They have to go in now.
All right, well, here comes the rally as well as the Blossom ends up getting, Mighty Peon ends up getting booped up, though, so not being able to solidify a lot of that damage against the attacker. Investing also the Nano in onto Brimos allows them to take out the rest of the team. But that was a 30-second fight. They still got 2 minutes, 30 seconds to push it maybe 10 meters.
Yes, indeed. The Graviton's going to be huge here because, at the very least, Pichu can swing into it and build up to a Shatter. Doesn't even have to get a kill, just build up to his own Shatter. Therefore, in the Grav, the shield gets wasted on the other side. The initiation going in, though.
What was that? That was interesting right there. The Diva Bomb came in from base boosted, but I think got stuck on the high ground just a little bit, so it didn't end up going where it needed to go. We're now going to see the Blizzard come out from Xerox trying to save the objective, but I mean, I guess there's really nothing to be saved. AYAYA did pretty much clear it, so that's kind of an ult wasted.
I mean, not just an ult, they dedicated Shatter, they used Bomb at the beginning of that, and now they're getting Nanoed on. This could be bad.
Oh, Nano and the big old Graviton coming in without base boosted to be able to hold on, bring it in. The Blizzard now coming down on the objective. Obi-Wan able to take down their counter Xerox, as well as Pichu following up on base boosted. And that is objective number 3, folks. Salt will take the lead here on Kings Road 2-1 in our semifinals series.
I mean, that was just a very strange overcommitment for the side of AYAYA at the very end. But for him, please show me this Deadeye once more. Look at the positioning setup, knowing the bomb is there.
Oh, see? That my thought was that it came from behind. But really, it was just the fact that KBC was being a nonsensical Nelly and distracting the rest of AYAYA. And they didn't realize that Prim was still around. Huh.
I mean, what more can you say there? I think Kings Row, I mean, there were signs of life for both teams, though. You know, it's not like I got rolled over or anything like that. So it's still anybody's game going into this fourth map. But I think the new objective has to be getting base boosted into more positions on this Diva in order to shut down the DPS play on the other side. Because Obi-Wan on the Mei has been a nuisance, as well as we saw, Prim has just been raining damage everywhere from every which angle.
And that has been a huge benefit to the side of Salt, is that it seems like AYAYA is so focused on taking out the tank line more than they're focused on taking down the person that's really screwing them up right now. And that's the combo of Obi-Wan and Prim. Like between the Blizzards, just about every fight, the Bobs and the High Noons coming out from Prim on the Ashe and McCree, just doing an incredible amount of damage these DPS are, and they're not really getting dealt with. They're kind of just being left to hang around. But it looks like we are going to see a swap for possibly the last match. Eternal is going to come back in for Mighty Peon for the side of AYAYA. So I'm interested to see how this final match will end up going down as we head to our escort map that AYAYA will end up picking out here in the end. So looking in the chat right now, it looks like we got some love from Brick. Hypecasters love it. Do love it. We got some more hashtag let Voltage play. Voltage is a top 500 player. We've been over this chat. It is not allowed in this match anyway. I know we do pugs sometimes, so I've seen how Voltage plays. Woo! You do not want to be on the other side of that. No. Huh. That's interesting.
That is interesting indeed. I'm assuming you're referring to the map pick that
I
decided to come on
am.
through, which is Havana for the side of AYAYA. A lot of sightlines, at least on first point.
But isn't that the problem that they've been having?
I mean,
Is the
it's
fact that there have been a lot of long sidelines? And
I mean, it's the problem that they've had with Mighty in the lineup. Mighty, while he did have some few streaky plays, wasn't really a big impact player. You didn't see him a lot in the kill feed, nor really just kind of having an impact on the game. But Eternal was in for them on control. So possibly going back to what you know, possibly Eternal might be that more reliable DPS player. But who really knows why you could pick? Maybe, once again, it's another set strategy, just like they had on King's Row.
yeah, I'm interested to see how it comes down because again, we're talking about two different complete styles of maps. Like when we're looking at a control map, Eternal a majority of the time was running the Sombra, which is huge, absolutely huge when you're running a brawly comp. But on a map like Havana, the question is going to come down to, is Dank Monkey going to play Brig or Lucio? Because with a map like this, you need to be able to close ranks on whoever Eternal hacks. And if you can't close those ranks fast enough to get in that brawly position, it's going to be really difficult for them to kind of follow up on those picks. So I'm very interested to see how this all plans out, especially this very first area. Like literally, it's a really, really long street of maybe about 50 meters of the beginning of point one. So, and this is honestly one of the hardest corners to get around in Havana because of that. Because of if the defense team is good at those sightline picks, being able to just take advantage of those minute seconds when the shield is down to get a pick on the healer behind. That's going to be really tough for the side of AYAYA to push through, or at least they're going to have to push through the bar here on the right side in order to get to the more brawly fight and then push the payload after that.
I mean, yeah, this street pretty much. I'm trying to start a lovely little thing where I'm calling it Widowmaker's bowling alley because she kind of just rolls her shotgun through.
You're not wrong. I mean, I feel like you would call it Wrecking Ball's bowling alley because that would just make more sense.
It would make more sense, but I
you
think
could do
Widowmaker's
the
having a
exact
little
same
bit more
thing.
impact.
But I completely agree with you. Like this is very similar to like Junkertown on the first area. It's that long sideline that Widow can just pick after pick after pick after pick, and it doesn't even matter. But
this is interesting sightline for Prim right here. Instead of sitting all the way back, just kind of in the alleyway with the rest of the team. So very close and personal Widowmaker style. Meanwhile, the car's just casually moving.
I think the thing that's honestly most interesting to me is the fact that Salt decided that they were going to get Brawly to start things off with. I think that's the thing that kind of interests me the most about this entire thing, while Red Hoodie's still the only one on the objective. Just bouncing around, just keeping things going the entire time. They're going to end up giving up that Widowmaker's Boulevard right there as they go ahead, or Widowmaker's Bowling Alley, rather. As they go ahead and make their way around that corner, they're now going to have to get into this more brawly positioning. Eternal now coming in on the Mei with Xerox on that Hanzo, proving to be incredibly deadly. Antinade coming in with the Blizzard as the Dragon Strike, trying to get picks, but they were not frozen enough in order to be able to solidify said picks. McBean will end up getting the DMEC on KBC right there, but Prim will return the favor as the sites end up coming out. Dank Monkey, Xerox, and Brimos are just going to go ahead and get pick after pick right now as Prim just takes a nap on the high ground. No big deal.
Unfortunate. I mean, there's not really been a fight because of the fact when you're playing this Widowmaker composition, you're kind of relying on the picks to come through, but Prim's been taking up very weird positioning, playing with the team still. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why you would continue to try to brawl as a Widowmaker. Seems like you're trying to snipe as a Doomfist. It doesn't really add up 2 and 2.
Yep, I agree with you there. It's very interesting, the decisions that they've decided to make with this. Prim's still coming in as that Widow, by the way. Or wait, where is Prim? Oh no, Prim walked all the way back to spawn to switch to Ash. Wow. By the way, on the objective though, there's a Shatter and Blizzard coming down with Pichu cleaning up. As things continue to move on, we see the boop come in from Red Hoodie and the takedown of Xerox trying to hold the objective on their own. With 4 minutes on the clock, Brim now back in as the Ash, looking to do probably a lot more damage as we saw on King's Row.
Yes, indeed, but what I'm most concerned about is the check marks I see on the side of AYAYA. Now,
That's a
I'm
lot
not the
of check
smartest
marks.
bulb in the bunch, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think possibly using all of those might get you a fight. I don't know. Depends on how it goes.
Ooh, and almost Xerox getting taken down right there as the Blizzard and Dragon Strike come out. Ends up getting Red Hoodie there in the end. Base boosted, cleaning up on Prim and Widowfaker as well. And it seems like just about everyone except for Pichu is going to end up getting taken down until right then and there. The payload is going to start moving its way into objective number 2 with 3 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock.
I saw the fight being lost in the payload contest, and I genuinely thought it was Red Hoodie again. I was like, that darn Lucio just won't get off objectives these days. Just chills.
Nope, they ended up getting caught in the blizzard, so that was unfortunate for them. The Maywall Ore cutting off the exit as the Diva Bomb going into the backline, looking to see if it'll get a pick. Gonna be unsuccessful. Diva Bomb now coming in reverse. Doesn't get much of anything though, as well as that Shatter from Brimos. Gets nothing but Pichu shield right there. But the anti-nade coming in as now the Nano gets dedicated to the fight. Brimos finally taking down Pichu, but ends up getting locked in the corner there with Obi-Wan. They're going to end up grabbing objective 2 regardless of everything that went down there. But there were a lot of ultimates used in that fight by the side of AYAYA. So this is going to be an interesting next area.
Well, it wasn't even like an over-ultage, I would say. It was just a matter of, okay, we're going to use Bomb to initiate. The Bomb doesn't do anything. Okay, I'm going to use Shatter. Shatter catches nobody. And finally, McBean is just like, dear Neptune, hands him the Nano. Please do something with it.
Hands in the Nano. Love it. And already those anti-nades again from McBean has been huge for the side of AYAYA, getting about 3 right there, and the cleanup coming in from Eternal and Brimos is going to allow them to continue fervently pushing this payload forward. With about 3 minutes on the clock, they've only got about 50 meters to make it to objective 3.
The unfortunate part, that cart wasn't moving the whole time, so it could be a tad bit closer right now, but when you have an Ana like McBean who's getting these fat anti-nades, they can't really play cart like other Anas would, so you do have to eventually send somebody back to deal with the cart. And meanwhile, the positioning is seeming to be pretty well for the side of AYAYA here, but it's about to be a Q quest.
Ooh, Dragon Strike coming in right there, separating out the team. The anti-nade also grabs Pichu right there as the Bob goes on the cart, picking off McBean. A trade continues to go between the teams right now. 1 for 1 and 1 for all right now, as Obi-Wan and Prim able to get those final picks onto the rest of AYAYA, clearing the objective and giving them some time to breathe with 2 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, now what I thought was going to be the ult swinging fest, Xerox just decides to get a pick onto Prim. Finally tired of Prim having the better day on the sniper heroes, deciding to put an end to it. And now we're seeing kind of, I guess, the aggressive forward hold.
Oh, Diva Bomb going into the backline, but the Shatter, I'm not even for certain who it ended up grabbing right there. Pichu ended up losing a lot of the usage of the Nano with that Diva Bomb, as KBC trying to stay on the objective ends up, just barely. I thought they were going to survive there with a little bit of health, but it was not enough. We're now going to see Obi-Wan coming back in as the Doomfist, trying to hold everything together with Widow on that Batiste, trying to keep everything going. Ends up getting the D-Mech there onto base boosted, but not before getting taken out of the fight. The Blizzard coming down from Eternal, looking to see if they can solidify the objective. Prim will get the double kill as the Graviton comes out, holding Brimos in place. Prim will end up falling right there. we do see McBean going for that hard reset as we see Pichu literally trying to chase down Brimos. But with the rest of the team coming back into the fight, it looks like that's going to be a lost one.
Yes, indeed. But the upside for AYAYA here is you forced an almost entirely ult economy reset. Prim is going to be close to that Deadeye. And, of course, Baptiste building up towards his amplification matrix, but that's to be expected. It just builds so quickly. You've got to act now. You have dragons, you have Shatter, and you're already throwing the dragons in. Are they going to get anything?
It's more so they're trying to keep them away from the cart, I feel. Ore getting taken down by base boosted. Obi-Wan gets the pick on Eternal. In return, Prim with the Deadeye gets the double as the Diva Bomb coming up from base boosted. Doesn't manage to grab a single person. Prim following up on Xerox right there. Will clear the cart once again with only 10 seconds left on the clock. Somebody, anybody has got to touch, and that Shatter coming in from Brimos will get 3, but without the follow-up, it's going to be hard to be able to get anything out of that. McBean with a 4-man anti-nade, but again, no damage to be able to follow up on that. We now see base boosted coming back in as the Hammond with Xerox on that Doomfist, but again, Obi-Wan and Prim just clearing the objective just shy of objective number 3.
I feel like the side of AYAYA didn't really believe in their Ana. McBean actually wrapped around, was going to be able to touch there in the very end, not really worried about it, but they still dedicated Shatter extremely early. It got shut down, and unfortunately, when that was your only ultimate online, that was your only chance. So to lose something like that, but it's not over. Havana, to get that far on Havana is still at least an accomplishment. There's any point on this map that can get held. It's not really a commonplace, so it's possible.
And that's similar to any of our escort and hybrid maps that we've. Whichever map would have ended up being played, third point is always the hardest because of the spawn advantage of the defender's side. You have to be incredibly well coordinated, and as we've seen, these teams are incredibly well balanced against one another. So to be short of objective number 3 is quite an accomplishment for how these two have been duking it out all night.
I mean, definitely. It just shows to attest the competitive level, not only of these two teams, but what it took for them to get here. I mean, clearly forged in the fires of tournament play, and now getting to show their best and brightest possibly here on the final map.
Possibly final map, depending on how this ends up turning out. It looks like Xerox and Dank Monkey have opted for the Far Mercy. Surprising that we didn't see that the first time around, actually. And we're going to see Obi-Wan and Prim going for what they ended the match on, which was the Widowmaker and the McCree. And it looks like they're going to get brawly at the entrance, so here we go again. Pichu Ore getting separated out from the rest of the team. The Maywall comes up, but gets immediately broken down in enough time for Pichu to retreat to the safety of the spawn. Sleep Dart comes in, gets nothing but shield for the side of AYAYA. As we see base boosted taking down Obi-Wan, but not before Eternal falls in the fight as well. The brawl continues on as Prim taking down McBean in the backline. So with one healer down, they're going to have a hard time continuing to fight it out. Brimos getting taken down by Prim with a strategic flashbang right over the shield as Obi-Wan picks off base boosted in return. The Far Mercy, which honestly I didn't see doing a whole lot in that fight, also got picked off by Prim. And I'm wondering where they were.
They were actually, it's, I believe, a strategy the Washington Justice made popular, where they were playing over the spawn itself on the roof. It allows you to hide from sightlines rather well until the cart gets moving. But the cart got moving extremely early, and Prim was able to find it, as well as, I think, a sleep from Widowfaker was able to take Farah out of the sky.
Ooh, we're seeing some robotic boy coming out to play as Xerox swapping over to Genji now, looking to see if they can end up doing some damage against this double longevity DPS combo. Brimos will end up taking down Obi-Wan as the Nano now coming in onto KBC, looking to try to hold everything together. Base boosted and Brimos are going to go ahead and clear the objective otherwise, with KBC getting DMAC'd right there at the end and taken down by base boosted. 2 minutes, 15 seconds on the clock to get into objective number 1.
And the fabled Nanoblade is fast approaching for Xerox. The question is, what value are you going to be able to get from this? The May could wall you off, as we do
Oh. Uh-oh.
It's all...
sorry, folks, but we got to pause on the field because Eternal just left out of here. So while we wait to get Eternal back, one thing that I'm kind of questioning about this composition, Pichu and KBC. What the heck is this Orisa Diva comp?
I would love to justify it, but to run one shield is risky. To run one shield when it's just an Orisa who's only 600 shielding, that's even riskier. So I don't really know the whole value. It's allowing a lot of collapse. Possibly the Orisa is kind of dragging more of the attention. That's the value you're hoping to get, whereas Reinhardt would just kind of have to deal with the 1v1 war, whereas Orisa can kind of more just do things.
I'm gonna assume that that's the case, because with the way that Brimos has been just incredibly aggressive on that Rein, it seems like a very odd pick. But I wonder if what Pichu's goal is, because KBC's have been having a hard time hitting those Diva Bombs, maybe using the Halt to bring everyone together. Maybe?
As we're seeing,
we will see the trade right there as both Diva Bombs come out from KBC and base boosted as we get back into the fight. Prim will end up taking down Xerox as well, trying to get in that backline and use that Nano Blade, but will get removed, but thankfully they didn't use it at that moment, so it was good positioning, good timing on their part. We are going to see Dank Monkey in on that brig, though. Here it comes, the Nano Blade, but it's gonna get removed by the beat drop that comes in, saves everyone except for Widowfaker, unfortunately. We're going to see the High Noon coming in from Prim as KBC cleans up both Brimos and Dank Monkey. We're going to see McBean trying to hold on to the objective, ends up giving Pichu a little nap right there with that dart, but Prim will clean up the rest of the objective, except for what seems to be Eternal, who's going to get taken down by Obi-Wan instead. And that is probably going to end up being objective number 1, giving them another 2 minutes and 30 seconds, make that 3 minutes, 20 seconds to take objective number 2.
And like you were trying to highlight before with the Orisa, as Pichu does go over to the Reinhardt now, but for that engagement, Prim just had all the space in the world to work with, because both Brimos and Base Boosted were just focused down on the Orisa, and now the rally engagement, but getting walled off and wasting so much of this time in armor.
Yep, I mean, the rally is good, but Pichu will end up getting Xerox there in the end. Tackle coming in, almost is successful, taking down Dank Monkey, but Obi-Wan falls as well. Now the Nano and High Noon get into the fight as Prim takes down Brimos, and as well, Pichu and KBC will trade out D-Mex as well as Base Boosted and McBean's life. That clears the objective once again with 2 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock to get into objective number 2.
And I mean, really, you're just, now that you're forced onto the Rhine matchup, you have to find the answer here if you are the side of AYAYA, because you're kind of sort of getting aggressive stat, but you're the aggressive comp. You have to be the one to hold W, and instead you're kind of waiting out of fear of the May. Obi-Wan is doing a great job just inspiring fear, but when you're
but that might be good for them as the tackle ends up bringing them out. Diva Bomb going up high, but what did it do? I'm going to have to go back and look at that, because that is not the direction I thought it was heading to. We're going to see the Nano Blade coming out once again, but ends up getting swept brought back up to life. No! It was going to be a good sleep, but it was not good enough. Someone ended up hitting them just at the end, and Widowfaker right now in the chat is just like, oh. Just like, I hit that sleep dart, then somebody had to touch him.
Also, I feel it's important to be highlighted during that fight. Red Hoodie, I believe, was attempting to 1v1 Eternal in the backline and used Beat for just himself. So, interesting over-dedication of a very important ultimate. And now we're seeing...
I wonder if it was more so the timing, though, is that they were trying to use Beat and hopefully be close enough to reach everyone else in the Nano Blade. Maybe? I don't know. The Blizzard will end up coming down there for Obi-Wan as well as the high noon. Prim gets the double kill and the D-Mech onto base boosted as Eternal ends up falling to Widowfaker right there in the end. Took them a little bit more time as they realized that Brimos is just here hanging out. They're going to go ahead and grab objective number 2, giving them 2 minutes, 10 seconds to grab objective number 3.
So you've kind of been playing around the Nano Blade combination, and it's something that can work out for you. It's a kind of a final fight sort of deal, but Xerox have been slow to build these blades. I feel like the Nano is almost lapping him at this point. But
it feels like it is kind of getting to that point, but again, you're dealing with that Mei, which is, I guess, an odd choice for why Xerox would end up picking that if that's the continued fight that they're continuing to hold. Shatter coming in onto the Frozen team, but not be, for some reason, just getting held out right there. Not a lot of use of that Nano as the Diva Bomb now going high, way too high, but thankfully the rest of AYAYA will go ahead and clear the forward movement of the objective, taking over the payload with 1 minute, 15 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, but you invested a lot into that for AYAYA. Literally all you have left in your bank is Nano Blade now, which is something good to have in your bank, but there's a Deadeye to worry about on the other side. A beat drop's going to be coming out, as well as a Blizzard and Diva Bomb of their own. So many ways
Here
to
it comes! Nano Blade ends up grabbing 2, 3! Without the beat drop online, it was not able to deflect that, as Xerox able to get Pichu there in the end. That is going to be a quick cleanup of the objective with now 40 seconds left on the clock.
And all of a sudden, because that Nano Blade was so huge, because they were able to force it, if they can force ultimates out of Salt right here, this is hugely winnable. Eternal can build up towards this Blizzard, and then in an overtime fight, I mean, Blizzard on a card is just painful, but...
Oh, the Mei wall goes up, separating out KB's ult from the rest of the team. Now the Blizzard's coming down along with the high noon, as Brimos does get the double kill on Obi-Wan and Pichu. Not a lot of cleanup is happening on the objective right now by the side of Salt. Beat drop coming in, trying to save the day and keep everyone going, but the sleep dart coming in from McBean ends up negating a lot of what KBC's damage could have been. Obi-Wan coming back in as the Tracer will end up getting a couple of picks and doing damage as overtime now ticks away. They have one shot, one opportunity, and there's no spaghetti in sight for them to grab this objective.
But this is exactly what AYAYA wants. The Blizzard's online. The only fear is the Shatter, but you can Blizzard before the Shatter comes down. It just comes down to the E. But the Blizzard came in on a
flank. There it is! Blizzard already hitting out as we see Pichu holding on to that Shatter, ends up getting taken off the side of the map by Brimos. Base boosted, following up on Widowfaker in the backline as the Diva Bomb comes down but goes too far forward. Isn't able to do enough damage. Prim now in on the Soldier 76, ends up getting taken out as the Nano going in on Xerox. Here's the Blade! Looking to clean it up, but Diva Bomb now on the objective. Oh! We'll take down Brimos instead! Trying to tackle back into the objective to hold on, but it is not going to be enough for them. We're going to a map 5 as AYAYA takes Havana.
These two teams, I mean, if it didn't end in map 5, did it ever really end? I think they're so evenly matched, the back and forth, the hero plays coming out from both sides. As you see, Xerox being the one to get the better of it on this map. Ended up killing the Lucio pretty much by accident there, but prevents the beat from saving anyone.
Woo! That was huge right there. And it was within seconds of that. Red Hoodie had maybe 1 or 2% left before that beat was available. And just the immaculate timing of that Nano Blade was literally what shut down that entire push right there. It was absolutely huge. This is going to go back to Salt for the final map of the evening, going back to Control. So blow it up in the chat, folks. Let me know who you want to take this away. Do you want Salt, second seed currently in the standings, to go ahead and continue their reign and take it on to the finals? Or do you want AYAYA to be like, playoff, like the regular season didn't matter. It comes down to this match and this match only. And AYAYA taking lead over Salt to go and face Eclipse in the following weeks. Let us know in the chat what you all are thinking about. What do you think, Megalas? Where are we going? Like, where are we? Where do you think? Like, what team do you think is going to come out on top for this?
I mean, it's so close between these two teams, but if we look back in time towards Lijiang, AYAYA was the one to take that map, even though it was incredibly close on 2 of the rounds. So now if you're Salt, even though you're getting to pick the control map, you're starting to sweat a little bit. The nerves are finally starting to hit you because this is it. This is do or die time. You have to put up, and I don't know if they can. I think it's just very risky between anything you want to run.
I have to agree with you. It's definitely going to be it's going to be a rough fight. Regardless, we are headed to Busan for our final map. Or sorry, I should probably say it correctly. Busan.
Is there a joke here I'm missing?
I try to relate it similarly to one, the fact that they're casters over on the east of the world are very energetic and will literally yell about anything, as well as if you're familiar with Rhett and Link, anytime someone says Tokyo, Rhett yells really loud like that. So kind of combine the two, I guess, for Busan. Just show some love to our folks over there. But nevertheless, this is a really my wife in the back saying, psst, psst, "Be quiet." but I'm really interested to see what their strategy is on this. Like personally, I feel like I would have tried to go for Ilios for the boops, especially the way that Red Hoodie's been playing. May have been able to be successful in that way, but maybe Salt's just not feeling comfortable with that. And seeing that it's going to come down to, like you said, that brawly composition for both sides, AYAYA might come out on top.
I mean, it also depends, possibly, because sure, you can have strategies prepared, but it's pretty much the roll of the dice. Say you have a strategy prepared for, since we're on Busan, downtown, but you don't get downtown as those first 2 maps, all of a sudden you don't even get a chance to play what you prepared. You've lost it already. So it's just the RNG of what you can do.
And I think that that's what we're going to end up seeing here. Busan does have some incredibly high ground areas, I guess, to be able to use those sight lines. We're getting requests in the game chat for the teams. Can we do hero bans now? Nope.
No hero bans, only hero tools. Thank you very much.
Yes, hero tools to be used in this fight. Our first match is going to be on the mecha base for this tiebreaker map. And this is always an interesting one because it comes down to a lot of strategy that I don't feel that people utilize nearly enough. When you see those platforms going up and down, that could be a diva's best wet dream or worst nightmare. Because if that diva bomb goes in and the walls are down, but the other team thinks they're protected, it's game over. You got it. But if those walls come up and you're not paying attention and your diva bomb's on the other side of that wall, you ain't getting nothing. So
absolutely
I'm really interested to see, because again, base boosted is coming down on that diva. I hope they have that timing down. It's gonna be crucial.
Well, this point of Busan is so interesting because it allows this more brawly style, and it's 2 different variants of brawl we're seeing here. One side running the Brigitte, keeping the diva, the other side opting into the Zarya, which gives you more damage, and looks like the Zarya, at least for the first fight, is gonna prevail.
And that's going to be huge right there. Base boosted will trade the pick on Brimos for KBC, though. So both Ryans currently out of the fight right now, as we see Pichu essentially trying to fight against both Xerox and Dank Monkey right now. They will end up grabbing the objective, but the fight is far from over as Primo's coming back into the fight, gets Red Hoodie immediately. KBC now back in on that Rhine, ends up getting separated out from the rest of the team. Tackle coming in, able to get Dank Monkey, but Dank Monkey, must have flailed Pichu off the side before that tackle came in, and we are going to see a quick swap over for the side of AYAYA. 5% in climbing to the 17% of Salt.
I mean, it was scary there for a moment for AYAYA because Prim was raining in damage before he finally died. And I mean, there was a moment where Prim was about to build a Blossom in less than a minute, and that's absolutely terrifying on any character but a Reaper.
But that Shatter is going to end up grabbing Brimos right there, and with other ultimates online, they can end up taking this point. KBC trying to hold on against Xerox right now as we see them go down. Prim with the Blossom ends up getting Dank Monkey and D-Mecking base boosted. And we will see them clear the objective and take control, 20% in climbing to the 39% of AYAYA.
And now the ult economies are going to be rotating back and forth. Both nanos are coming off of going to have to be built rather. But every other ultimate, the Blizzard obviously starting here, but every other ultimate for the side of AYAYA ready to go.
Oh, but the Blizzard gets denied from Xerox. Not enough. The Maywall now separating out Dank Monkey from the rest of the team as a Shatter coming in, as well as a Blossom from Eternal, looking to clean it all up as the wall goes down. Their backs were turned. 50% on the objective right now. The only one to try to hold on is Prim, but will fall to Dank Monkey once again. 55% for Salt as we see AYAYA start their percentage climb once again. And
Yes,
we have a pause.
Yes, indeed. Pause is called, but something that's interesting to be looked at here is this is a situation where you might not want Dank Monkey on that Brigida. Sure, it lets you brawl a little bit more, but there's a Graviton and an Earth Shatter on the other side. You'd rather have that beat drop, or heck, even a Transcendence, just a defensible to try to live through those powerful tank ults.
That is going to be a rough one, but I think to kind of counter what you're saying there, I think that's where McBean comes in, because those anti-nades have been absolutely huge, and if they're able to deny the healing of the other team coming into that Graviton, it might be okay for Dank Monkey to be in that, because that's just one more person that can hit back.
Yes, indeed. As we are resuming here, and both teams kind of electing to take this high ground approach. Possibly could come down to Maywall, a huge position used like that.
Oh, and that's where it comes in. The anti-nade coming in onto KBC. Shatter and Graviton coming down as Brimos able to get taken down by KBC. The Maywall comes up, separating out KBC from the rest of the team as Dank Monkey able to finish up on that pick. It is a 4v3 fight right now, actually 4v2 to be completely honest with you, as we see Red Hoodie just nowhere near the rest of the team. I'm not for certain what they were trying to do, but they're going to end up regrouping, and with only 20% left for AYAYA to take this point, some strategy has to come into play.
I mean, definitely, you use your tank ultimates. There's nothing defensive on the other side. You were supposed to have it then and there, but now they're forced to kind of brawl, and this is where Dank Monkey's going to excel. The Brigida, the rally's already coming in. It's terrifying.
Rally and Blizzard coming down right now. As Dank Monkey just barely able to escape, but Prim on the high ground ends up taking down Xerox. They're chasing down Brimos right now as Prim with the Blossom ends up getting the double kill on Eternal and Brimos despite being anti-nated. We will see Prim following up on McBean as base boosted takes down Widowfaker. In return, Diva Bomb coming down, but incredibly predictable, ends up getting walled off by Obi-Wan. They're going to grab the objective with 99% for the side of AYAYA to finish their percentage climb.
I mean, these teams, each player kind of has been using their ults, not freely, but it's no longer the determining factors you kind of expect from an ultimate. These players are playing off their pure mechanical skill alone and showing you how evenly matched they are yet again. And I think Brimos' Shatter here, it has to be big, or this could end poorly for the side of AYAYA.
All right, they're moving their way in. 20% left on the objective right now as we see the Shatter coming in from Brimos along with the Graviton and Blizzard from either side. Xerox and Eternal will clean up as the Blossom takes down KBC. It is a 2v6 fight on the objective, now meeting up to that 96 percentile mark. Overtime gonna tick away as Red Hoodie just tries to touch to keep overtime going as long as possible. Prim getting in there to touch again. Eternal deleting as KBC able to hold on to the objective, gets anti-nated. Overtime again ticking away right now as they're just trying to hold on, trying to see if a miracle can happen. Shatter coming down in the underground from Brimos, and at 100-96. First map here on Busan will go to AYAYA.
But I think that's AYAYA's favored map, the one where they can really brawl it out. Sure, if they get the... it's the one with the big drum in the middle. I don't really remember the name. I think it's just Sanctuary, possibly. But unfortunately, the dice roll has taken us to downtown. And this is where those long sightline heroes, you already see it, Prim switched over to the Widowmaker. This is where they can achieve that full value. And the counter is going to be possibly this dive comp. Is it dive in 2020? Is it truly?
I mean, we saw it on Control Point Lijiang.
It did indeed.
I'm really interested to see how it's going to come down, though. Because the way that Prim's been playing, I don't think that Eternal is going to focus them as much, nor is there really a lot that Eternal can do. Oh, I lied.
That was the whole team diving. Eternal
the whole team dived in, and Eternal picked out Prim from the rest of the team. They're going to switch onto the Tracer for this fight as Pichu able to get the tackle onto Dank Monkey. Everything is coming up red right now. AYAYA fighting strong on the objective are going to go ahead and grab it in their favor as Prim gets taken down by base boosted.
Very interesting that Prim decides to switch over to the Tracer. They're possibly going to have to switch back to something else at this point, maybe a McCree, or just sticking on the Tracer, you know, trying to get value that way. You think there's so many flankers, you want to have survivability perhaps, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. But it does kind of forsake the rest of your team because you're going to be off on your own. And Red Hoodie, for the first time, playing the Brigitte themselves.
Should be interesting to see how this comes down. Obi-Wan ends up getting walled out and slept right there as they're literally fighting off half of the team right now. They will end up freezing up as Xerox is the only one to survive right there. Now here comes the Nano Blade already looking to clean up. Brimos and Xerox getting the triple kill right there before they're even able to touch the objective. That is going to be a clean fight right there. 50% on the objective for the side of AYAYA, and not a lot to be had.
And the stall, the stagger onto the poor baby Diva. It could have been a lot worse, actually, so you'll take that. Now we see Obi-Wan switching over to the Reaper. They're giving up the Mei entirely for the first time. No Mei has been on either side. But it might be too late. You're at 70% already for the side of AYAYA.
It's definitely going to be a hard one for them to fight out, especially with Obi-Wan Ore getting in the backline. Widowfaker will take down Eternal, though, so they have a great way to start as KBC also swapping over to the Winston as well. We're going to see the minefield now coming out as Brimos able to get the double kill on Red Hoodie and Prim right there. Obi-Wan following up, though, getting a double kill of their own, with Pichu following on McBean there in the end. Widowfaker with the double kill as the Ana on the objective ends up getting taken down by Eternal, but they will grab the objective with 96% for the side of AYAYA.
Yes, but here's where it gets dangerous. You, as Salt, you're on your last leg. You have to try to climb this back, and there's going to be an EMP Nano Blade if they decide to hold EMP for it. And there's just no counter. There's just none.
The only counter is to kill him fast and kill him quick, and that's exactly what's going down with that Shatter, with Obi-Wan getting the double kill right there. They're going to chase the rest of them back to spawn, except for Eternal right there, who has EMP online, and the Nano Blade is there as well. So it's really, as you said, it's going to come down to how they set this up, because this is their one chance.
I mean, play split. That's the best thing you can really do. Keep everybody separated. Red Hoodies know.
And it looks like that's what they're doing, or trying to anyway.
Trying to. Meanwhile, the percentage is still building for Salt, so all is not lost. It's not hopeless or anything. The EMP.
All right, the EMP does grab 3. Here comes the Nano, or Blade, but Obi-Wan taking down the Blade with the Blossom in return. That is done, dead, and over right now. As they go ahead and clear the objective once again, Obi-Wan will take down Primos, and they will continue that percentage climb, bringing us into final fight territory.
Absolutely huge Blossom, but the Nano doesn't get applied. Possibly LOS just wasn't there for McBean, but now we're approaching 80%. Pulse Bomb's online. Prim can get a very easy pick onto a support with that. And you use beat drop, you use so much in that fight. I mean, these tank ults are going to have to come up big, and I don't know if they can.
Well, let's see if they can make it happen. McBean being Ore getting the pick on Obi-Wan with the anti-nade right there. Coalescence now coming out, trying to keep things going as KBC and Prim following up in that backline as the Primal Rage comes out for base boosted. Pichu able to take down Dank Monkey as well. It is a 2v5 fight on the objective right now as Widowmaker on that Moira takes down base boosted. The only one left right now is Primos to try to hold and keep that overtime ticking away, but they will be unsuccessful as they literally just get beat back over and over again by the Primal Raging KBC. It is 1-1, folks, going into the final map of the final area of the semi-final round. So many finals right here. It all comes down to Busan Sanctuary.
And I mean, it's just perfect play back and forth. And finally, I feel like this is a map that doesn't really favor either team. Sure, you can brawl a little bit here, but at the same time, a coordinated dive or possibly some sightlines are open if you want to run it. But I think both teams are opting for more of this. Xerox, interestingly enough, I don't know why you would stick on the Genji. Yep, there's the final switch over to the Doomfist. Doomfist gets a lot of value here too. There's a lot of close corners, especially if you know there's going to be a Tracer on the flank, but Obi-Wan could be the surprise on the Sombra.
I think the thing that I'm most surprised, I think the thing that honestly irritates most teams about this map is that there's just a giant drum in the middle. That's like the worst of all this. There's so little value on, there's so little space on the actual objective to capture. As we see the brawl coming out already, Pichu ends up getting deleted very early in the fight as we see the objective already being captured by AYAYA before the fight is even done. Xerox, Primos, and Eternal will go ahead and battle out, getting picks on the objective, with Pichu being the last to fall. 11% and climbing for AYAYA.
And what's really interesting is obviously Obi-Wan on the Sombra did get a lot of damage in almost over halfway to that EMP, but still scattered out. Base Boosted knew to go take care of that threat, and that was something we needed from Base Boosted earlier on. Wasn't really dealing with the DPS threats. Now they've ascended, and now the Shattering!
That's a fat shatter coming in from Primos. Base Boosted does get the double kill on that as they follow up on the damage. The DMEC also coming in onto KBC. 40% and climbing right now, and AYAYA is taking no prisoners this fight.
I mean, you can't. This is it. This is where you have to prove what you're worth. Forcing the switches of Pichu and KBC onto the Rhine Diva themselves, but Obi-Wan coming up on that EMP, regardless of any combo, it's what you want. Nanoblade waiting for it on the other side. Who can counter who can get it off first is going to be the story of this match.
Here it comes! Nanoblade again without a beat to be had. Ends up going in for the dash, but ends up missing. Does not get its target. Base Boosted will follow up onto Pichu, though, as they continue to fight on this high ground. Xerox will follow up onto Prim after the DMAC comes in for Base Boosted. But that is going to really be it for this fight. It looks like the rest of the team just went for that hard reset right there as they prepare for another push.
And now I don't understand why you would switch off the Reinhardt here for Pichu. You go over to the Winston possibly just to deal with the Genji, but you're about to have EMP. This is where you're going to be able to brawl in. The translocator is in behind.
And there it is. EMP ends up getting 3 as Prim and Pichu end up taking down Primos and Eternal. It's a 4v6 fight right now on the objective as the rally coming out for Dank Monkey, trying to brawl it out on objective. as base boosted takes down Prim in the backline. McBean takes down Pichu. So there's one tank and all DPS and heals on the objective right now, trying to brawl it out as much as possible as we see ultimates continuing to come online. Overtime ticking away. The Diva Bomb ends up coming out, ends up grabbing Obi-Wan as Primos falling up on Red Hoodie. The Blizzard ends up coming down, and AYAYA 100-0 on the final map of the tiebreaker match will end up taking the semifinals from second place Salt and moving on to the finals against Eclipse.
Absolutely close between these teams. Nothing to be ashamed of for either, really. Just phenomenal play all around. Like, I would not say there's a player to fault or anything. Both teams played their hearts out. It came down to who got luckier with each fight at the end of the day.
That is really kind of what it ended up coming down to tonight. It was just kind of a back and forth between these two teams, and at the end of the day, the match was decided by calculated strategy and coordination from one team to another that just ended up working out really well in their favor. So, AYAYA, congratulations on your victory here in the semifinals. And we're going to go ahead and move on to our players of the match this evening. So go ahead, start blowing up in the chat. And Megalas, as it being your first time here with us here at OCCS, I would give you the honor to give your player of the match first.
See, it's one of those things where you could argue that there's a bunch of different options to choose from, but in my mind, there actually was an extremely well-played hero for AYAYA, and that was McBean on the Ana all night. Absolutely insane sleeps, absolutely massive antis. Simply zoning as an Ana really doesn't do anymore. You used to see it way back in the day when dive comps were played, but now McBean on the Ana is starting to find value on these flanks, potentially high ground. You're never really expecting an Ana to do that. So absolutely massive play, setting up the team. Definitely deserves it.
See, my battle the entire night has been the battle of the maze between Xerox and Obi-Wan. The way that those walls have been going up and down, the way that the Blizzards have been using, it has been the battle between them both to who ends up coming out on top. And at the end of the day, I've got to end up giving it to Xerox. Xerox was literally carbon copying every single step that Obi-Wan was making and planning one step ahead of that every single time. If a Maywall came up from Obi-Wan, Xerox came right behind it with another Maywall that ended up making Salt at a disadvantage for the Maywall they just put up in order to put them at the advantage. And it was just a continued back and forth. But Xerox, at the end of the day, the Maywalls were incredibly well placed, getting KBC much more often than Brimos ended up falling to Obi-Wan and the rest of Salt. And that's just who I got to end up giving it to. Looking in the chat right now, it looks like Kazume coming in with base boosted, as well as Chaotic Beats throwing in McBean for some love, as well as Dank. Ox Arrow saying Eternal, doing a lot of love there. And Widowfaker voting for Widowfaker for sleeps and antes. Thank you very much. That's another battle that kept on going down this entire fight, was McBean and Widowfaker on the Anas. Like, so many of them were just so paralleled with one another, and the way that they played was so paralleled. It's really hard to tell how this match would have ended up at the end of the day. But go ahead.
I think you could play this match 10 times and they'd each win 5 times. I think it's just that close between these teams.
I completely agree with you there. Well, with that being said, that brings us to the end of our evening. The schedule coming up for the rest of the week, we've got the 13th of this week on Thursday, we'll be headed back into the Deadlock division with Earth, Wind, and Farah versus Queen's Guard in the semifinals. Saturday, the 15th, we'll go back to the Shimada clan for the first and fourth place playoff between Monarch and Neko. And then next week, we will be in the finals match of each division, starting with Blackwatch, which is now AYAYA versus Eclipse for that coveted second season victory spot. So with all of that being said, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We love you, and you should hit that heart button to show how much you love us and punch that bell. So that schedule that I just literally spent a minute telling you doesn't even matter. You get a notification on your phone. You'll always know when we're online. You can also hit that sub button, $4.99, and a Twitch Prime or Amazon Prime subscription will give you access to amazing emotes and support our awesome community. I want to give a special thank you to Kazime for streaming our match this evening. Wonderful producer to work with. And welcome to the OCCS family, Megalas. It is so great to have you here with us.
It's great to be here, and I'm looking forward to many more close, exciting games like this one.
You will definitely see them here. That's all from us here at the OCCS. I'm Captain Jack.
And I am Megalas.
And we'll see y'all next time.